So, hi there, everybody. Please excuse the plastic cap. I'm doing my hair, but I had something in my mind and I wanted to talk about it while it's still fresh in my head because I don't do written down stuff. I talk off the hip, it's unscripted. So, yeah, this is life. Brides, we do our hair, we do our nails, we live. So I'm not gonna come and talk to you guys every time all polished up. I'm gonna talk to you while I'm at work wearing my orange high V's. I'll talk to you in my home while I have a plastic cap on my head processing my hair 'cause I don't have time to go to the beauty salon. And I will talk to you when I'm in a studio doing a podcast with a professional for photography and someone that does I said podcast, see? Podcast recording because the first time was Vital Cuts. That's who did the first podcast. And they did a really good job. Vital Cuts, okay? Don't forget that. Anyway, budget real quickly. Um it's important. It's really, really, really important. Once you get that ring, the first thing you need to do when you really sit down to discuss your wedding, you have to know how much money each of you has. It's not an embarrassing question. You're marrying someone, you need to know that their debts, you need to know their monthly expenses, and you need to know if they have anything in the bank. You need to know what they bring home from work. You need to know everything because their debts and liabilities is now yours. What they have to pay out will ultimately affect you because if they have to pay out £1,000 in child support and 500 for the rest of their debt, by the time they come home with their paycheck, they can only give you £300 towards the bills. If you have a mortgage or pay rent, it's not going to work. So you really need to have a serious conversation and don't be embarrassed. It doesn't matter if you make £5 an hour or £100 an hour. It needs to be addressed. That's the first thing. Once you know what each other can bring to the table, then you can plan your wedding. You'll have a budget. Most weddings, as I was saying before, depending on where you're going to have it, if you're going to have a proper venue where they specialize in weddings, you're going to spend anywhere from 10 to £100,000. Average 15 to 20. So going in the door, you know £20,000 automatically is going to come out of your bank. We don't want to borrow the money to get married. If I have to borrow money to marry someone, I'm not going to do it because the wedding, the marriage is a union between you and your significant other. If you find yourself stressing out because you don't have the funds, but you want to have a big wedding to invite everyone, that's a no. It's going to cause problems. It's going to make your wedding be like, we have to be realistic. You can't invite everyone. So say for instance your budget is 10,000. Okay. The first thing you decide is, are you going to elope? Or are you going to have a intimate wedding where you just invite immediate family and close friends? That's one. Say you have about 100 people, 10,000 isn't going to do it. Even if you do a dry hire, which is you hire the hall, the venue, the space without anything, you still have to rent the chairs, the tables, you have to get the tablecloth, you have to get the floral arrangements, you have to buy the food, you have to pay the caterer, the decorations. It adds up. You're still going to spend about £20,000 in a hall. Now, if you want to have it in a garden, you can ask a family member, can you use their back garden because it's beautiful? But it's the same thing again. You have to rent, the canopies. It still adds up. So we have to really be realistic. You have a couple thousand in the bank. What's more important? Should you leave that money there to use towards a home if you don't have a home already, if that's your plans? Or do you withdraw your savings to have a big wedding for everyone? Something to think about. Really something to think about, right? So the first thing you do is sit at the table with hubby and you ask him, her, how much do you make? How much can you afford? Because at the end of the day, it's how much can we afford? Once you figure that out, then you get realistic with your guest list. You cannot invite your whole family. Cousin Billy Bob, Cousin Sue, Auntie Bev, Auntie Chloe. No, 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 no. You cannot invite the aunties who are not aunties, but your parents' friends from back in the days and that might have seen you grown, but you haven't spoken to them in 20 years. Can't do it. Some people will be mad at you, but you just can't do it. It's not feasible. I went to a wedding a while ago and there were no children. And I remember I asked the bride, how comes there's no children? And she told me, Joan, the cost of a child's plate, if you multiply that by 2030, which is the amount of little nieces and nephews and cousins that she had, she said, you're looking at 1,000 plus for kids to pick on some chicken littles and run around and let the food get cold. It made sense. I've been married before, and I remember that I didn't stop people from bringing their children because I had friends that I knew couldn't find a babysitter and might have had to bring their daughter or two. And I also had uh, three flower girls. So, I wanted them to be able to play with other children. And I remember at the time I paid a reduced rate for the kids, but at that time I was doing better. I was doing good financially, so I didn't see it as an issue. Going forward now for my second wedding, um, do I want to invite children? Should I? I am, because I have nieces and nephews that have children and I want them to come and not have to worry about where their children should go, because I want the mother of my nieces and nephews to come as well. So I'm going to do it. But I also, being realistic, I know my budget. I know how much Peter and I can afford. And so I know the guest list is capped at this. You know what I mean? So I'm saying this because I'm gonna make it quick because I'm doing my hair, and I just wanted to get this off my chest, ladies. Yes, talk to your significant other, find out their debts, find out what they make, find out what they have in the bank, and be real and realistic with yourself. You might want to have this big lavish wedding to impress folks because you want to give the illusion of grandeur. Now's not the time to do that. If you know you make 30,000 a year, you don't have any money in the bank, but you want to have a lovely wedding, you have to figure out, okay, if I do overtime for the next year or two, and we can squirrel away 500 a month between us, we can achieve 12, 13,000, and that's the budget. You cannot invite 200 people, 300 people on 13,000 budget if you're going to have a venue, because it goes by plate. So you have to think about the guest list. You work in an office, there's about 20 of you in the office. You can't invite all of them. If you don't talk to your co-workers outside of work, then they shouldn't be coming to your wedding. If you've never met your co-worker's significant other and never been to their homes, they shouldn't be coming to the wedding. And it's not personal. It's common sense. Your boss, I understand. Your director, your manager, I understand completely. You might say, oh my God, well, if I invite John and if I invite Karen, I have to invite everyone else because they're going to, feel kind of funny. No, you can't feel like that. If they don't pick up the phone to talk to you outside of work, they are not your friends. They are not family. They are your co-workers. Simple. They can't be on the list. Some people will say, well, if I invite him or her, I know I'll get some money. It's not about that, because you don't know what you'll get when you get married. People might just want to buy you a set of plates for £10 from Primark. You don't know. So if you do not have a relationship with people, you can't invite them. Your father wants to invite all his old workers from the job because they knew you when you was little. Mind you, you haven't seen these people in over 30, 40 years. If your dad wants to invite all his old work cronies, he has to pay for their plates. They are not family. And I'm sorry, I'm just keeping it real. They are not your friends. They are your parents' friends who they've known over the years, who have seen you, grow up, but they're not your godparents. They've never bought you a piece of cake or a gift for birthday or Christmases or anything. You don't have to invite them. If your dad wants them to be there, he needs to pay for their place. It's as simple as that. And speaking of dad and paying for plates, um, some people ask family for help. I don't believe in that. I think that if you come from a family that's well to do, then yes, your parents automatically say, hon, I'll pay for the wedding. This is the budget. We'll get you a wedding planner. Then you don't have to worry about it. But if you come from a regular average family, it's not really expected. Your mom might say, honey, I'll pay for the dress. Or dad might say, honey, I'll give you 5,000 towards the wedding. Then hey, that's wonderful. Then okay. But otherwise, don't ask, because it puts them in a position where it's not comfortable. And as adults, we know our parents' standings. We know what their financial status is. So don't do it. It's your wedding. It's the responsibility of you and your significant other getting married. Yeah. And apart from the wedding, guys, you have to remember your wedding dress that's going to cost you. You have to remember also the renting of the tuxedos. And even, you know what? And these days, guys don't wear tuxedos. I saw a nice picture of a bridal couple. She had on a nice, simple, like, white dress. And he had on, like, a white linen suit with, like, some nice loafers. And a simple white, like, button-down shirt. It was really, really nice. Like, wow, simple but elegant. So even that. So if that's the case, yeah, he has to get his suit, his shoes. You have to get the dress, the veil, the nails done, the bridal accessories, the shoes. All that adds up. That's part of your budget as well, unless your parents are going to buy the dress for you. Okay. Then you have to think about the honeymoon. All the restrictions have been lifted now. So we all want to go away, Jamaica, or we want to go to like the Maldives, somewhere really beautiful. You're looking at $3,000-4,000 or £4,000. That comes out of your budget as well. So it's something to think about. And while you're out there, you need money to spend. You don't want to put everything on credit cards, because you don't want to go into a new marriage in debt. If you had the debt prior to that and you guys worked it out, it's acceptable, fine. But you don't want to rack up a bunch of debt going into the marriage, because trust me, it's difficult. Because every time you get an extra couple of hundred, you have to pay off those credit cards. And the one thing that I feel that destroys marriages more than anything is money. Money is the root of, not to all evil, but it causes a lot of issues in marriage, because it causes resentment. If I'm working and he's not, every time I get paid and I have to pay more, I'm going to start to resent my partner because he doesn't have money to contribute. So that's an issue. Something to think about, really. Okay, I'm going to keep it short. It's 13 minutes, got a minute and a half left. Yeah, I think that's about it, ladies. I'm going to do the podcast this weekend. I did one, and for some reason it didn't load. I'm keeping it real. I don't know what happened. I'm going to do another one where I can talk more in depth. I'm going to talk one more time about budget, and then I'm going to go into the next topic. Oh, talk about budget. Even in the wedding, remember, pictures. You're not going to use your cell phone to take pictures. You need a professional photographer. $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. You want someone to videotape your wedding. It's another couple of hundred. You want makeup done. Everyone knows that when you get married, you have to have a professional makeup that looks like clay. And I say clay, it has to be like theatrical makeup for the pictures to really come out. I don't wear makeup per se, but I know when I got married, I had to have like a layer of this stuff on my face. And I'm glad I did, because the pictures came out really nice. And the photographer told me, hon, in order for your pictures to really shine, you have to have on some heavy makeup. I ended up using my cousin's, because I didn't even own foundation and stuff like that. So, your makeup artist. So your makeup artist, your photography, and the person that's going to videotape, you're looking at another 3,000. That's also part of your budget. So ladies, it's really something to think about, you know? And on that note, I'll see you guys on Saturday, but we'll finish just talking about the budget, and then we'll go into other things. And I'm gonna start doing I'm gonna write like a something called a wedding diary, where it gives like step by step things that we should really think about and do to plan our wedding properly. Anyone could plan a wedding, but to have the perfect wedding, which I'll I'll take that back. To have a wedding that is beautiful and runs smoothly, it takes planning and implementation. So I'm going to start writing some chapters of a book, a diary called The Wedding Diary. And yeah, I'm gonna start posting it and posting pieces of it. So for brides that need the help. And in closing, guys, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your demographics. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. We all have something in common. We're getting married. And you cannot plan a wedding on your own. We all need help. There's always going to be something that former bride might know. There's always going to be something that the friend of a friend might know about where to get flowers from, beautiful fresh flowers for at a discount, wholesale. So you can't do it on your own. And yeah, don't be ashamed to accept the help, and don't be ashamed to listen to this blog, because I'm going to tell you things that's right. Been married before. I've been there. I had a wedding, 460 people, did the big wedding. I wish I had someone to tell me, Joan, take a step back. You need to plan this. I lost so much money and so much time. Had I have planned properly, I think things would have went smoother. I had a beautiful wedding, but the stress that came with it, I still think about it to this day. It could have been avoided if I would have known what I know now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, ladies. On that note, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go wash my hair out. I'll be posting this week, and I'm gonna do another podcast this weekend. I'll put it on YouTube and Spotify, and we'll go from there, okay? And congratulations to all the brides. Congratulations to the brides getting married in the next couple of weeks. Congratulations. Yeah, I know how you feel. I love weddings. Oh, all right. You guys take care, and I'll see you soon.